It's time to talk business. It's Business Time with Mike Weinstein. KTAR News on 92.3 FM and KTAR.com.
All right, welcome back to It's Business Time, where we're here to talk anything and everything impacting the local economy here, impacting your job, impacting your small business. I'm excited. We have with us today our new Secretary of State, Michelle Reagan, who is the 20th Secretary of State here in the state of Arizona. And a lot of people don't realize this, but the Secretary of State is just one heartbeat away from becoming governor. Michelle Reagan, welcome to the show, and thank you for being with us this afternoon.
Well, thank you for having me. This is a treat.
Appreciate it. Well, keep your expectations real low, and you will not be disappointed.
Well.
Well, first of all, let's just get started. I really like to kind of dig deep into, what made people who they are and how they got to be where they are at today. You are originally from Rockford, Illinois, and you moved out here in the early 90s with your family. What brought you out here? More importantly, are you a Cubs or a White Sox fan?
Well, I had a very big step in between Rockford, Illinois, and Arizona, and that was the south suburbs of Chicago, where I grew up. I was actually only in Rockford for a couple years. I grew up in the south suburbs of Chicago with my family, and then I did what so many of us did, and that is we moved to Arizona. I like to say the smart people move west. My family came here to do what we couldn't have done had we stayed in Illinois, and that is to start a business and to do it successfully. Arizona's got a great business climate, so much better than so many other states for the lack of mandates that we have and the better tax climate. And so we came out here and started a little sign company. It was just Mom, Dad, and I when we started it. And we grew that to be the largest sign company of its kind in the country, right there on Central Avenue in Phoenix. And after a decade, we ended up selling the company. And I had always said during the time that we had our business, I said, if we ever sell this thing, I'm going to run for office, because I was tired of seeing some of the things that government did to small businesses, and I didn't want my new home, my beloved Arizona, to turn into my old home, Chicago. So,
right.
Now, I wanted to become a voice for small business down at the state capitol, and so that's what I did.
So when you guys started, and the name of the company was Fast Signs, correct?
Yes, it's a franchise, and there's many of them around the country and several in the state. But we owned the big one on Central Avenue, and it's still there today, owned by a lovely young couple who keeps it going, and they've done a great job with it. So
this is a little bit interesting, and we're talking to Secretary of State Michelle Reagan here on Business Time on KTAR News. How different was the business climate then when your family moved out here, you started the business, and obviously you've sold it, and now you were state rep and state in the state senate. Now you're the Secretary of State. How different is the business climate from then? Because it sounds like we moved here to the Phoenix area about the same time, and things just have seemed to change quite a bit.
Well, it was different. It was a different time then, and not to say that it's worse now. It was just different. Obviously, the population was smaller, and we moved probably about like you said, about the same time. And Central Avenue used to be a big cruising strip, where the high school kids used to cruise up and down. It wasn't anything like it was today. But the environment was a lot different for business in the sense that you didn't have nearly the mandates that you have coming at you. You didn't have you always had paperwork, of course, but you didn't have all of the massive amounts of you've got to post that notice for that employee, and you've got to post it so far away from your cash register, and it's got to be in all these different languages, and there wasn't all of these different regulations, and I'm not going to say that all of them are bad. I'm just going to say that with every good intention or every good thought comes another piece of paperwork that some business owner has to deal with.
So at the end of the day, though, you talked about you sold the business, that you would always get into politics. What was the driving force for you to get into politics?
Well, it started with a very selfish reason, and that's that we had, at one time we had about 20 employees, and for a small business, that's a heck of a lot of posters and banners to make payroll. And so I got involved with the Young Republicans to stir up some business, because I thought those young kids probably need a bunch of signs, and so I thought I'd go there to network.
Well, there you go.
And I got really addicted to public policy from being involved with that group, and we went down to the state capitol to meet some of our elected officials, and I sat in a committee hearing, and I was listening to a debate, and they were debating. At this time, some lawmaker had a well-meaning bill, and he was introducing it, and he thought that and this was a real bill, he thought that every gas station owner should provide free air and water for tires and cars at every gas station that in the Phoenix area. If you're going to have one of those tire machines
right.
for air, it should be free. You shouldn't have to put coins in it.
Well, at least free coffee. I'd take the free coffee.
And I remember, and I was fairly young. I was in my 20s, and I remember sitting there thinking, well, that sounds very nice, but why would anyone then put the machines there if they have to provide it for free?
Well, exactly. Then all of a sudden, nobody's going to have access to water and air. We are speaking with Secretary of State Michelle Reagan, who's going to be kind enough to hang on through the break. And when we come back, she's going to talk about what Arizona is doing to help you as the business owner and what she's doing to help us as a state as a whole. You're listening to Business Time with Mike Weinstein.
It's time to talk business. It's Business Time with Mike Weinstein. KTAR News on 92.3 FM.
All right, we are lucky enough to have on the phone with us our very own Secretary of State, Michelle Reagan. Michelle, thank you again for being with us today. Now that you've been in office for a couple of months and you've got your feet wet, you've rolled up the sleeves, how are we doing and how are things looking here in the state of Arizona for the business climate?
Well, I've never been so excited for the future of our state. We've got a governor who is just on top of it, and I think that's really exciting. He's just pushing ahead in all different business areas, and leadership starts at the top, so that's a really good sign. And then on the, of course, he's on the 9th floor of the executive tower, and then on the 7th floor, which is your Secretary of State's office, we're rolling out some really exciting initiatives, and it starts with simple things, which I'm embarrassed to say the Secretary of State's office did not accept credit cards until March 1st of this year. When I got there, I said, "What? We don't accept credit cards? That's insane."
But you're giving away free air and water, right?
Yes, we do give away free air and water. So a lot of hot air, right? So, just little things like that just make us, so behind the times. And so we've started upgrading our system. So we now accept credit cards. We're starting to put things online that, business people should be able to sit at home and file their paperwork that they need to file with the state online at a time that's convenient with them, in their pajamas in the middle of the night if they need to. And use credit card payments online. So that's the next step. If you have a UCC filing, a trademark, a notary paper, those services will be going online. Of course, being able to use a credit card was the first step. And then our website was just updated. That was huge because it's now mobile friendly. We're coming out with a new program in a couple of months, or actually about a month now, called Follow the Money. This, I think, citizens are going to really enjoy, and you'll be able to click on a public elected official's name and see exactly who's contributed to them in a very easy-to-use and see format, and then click on a lobbyist's name and see exactly who they've contributed to, and very easy to open bubbles that will show you.
See, I thought that concept of open and transparency was long gone, because I remember a politician that got elected about 6 years ago. That's what he ran on and promised us. But imagine being able to look at our politicians and see where the money goes. I think that's just phenomenal.
Well, I think the public's really going to enjoy the Follow the Money program because it is going to be very user friendly. And you know, we already collect a massive amount of information on the interaction between lobbyists and elected officials, and what we do a terrible job at is laying it out in a way that people can understand and readily access. And so we hope this program goes a long way and allowing people to kind of see, shed some light on that interaction. And the beautiful part is it doesn't require any additional government regulation or any additional reporting. The information is already being collected. And so we are just every couple of, 3-4 weeks, my IT department is just putting something new out there. And I think it really just took somebody that has an interest, like myself, in pushing new products into the marketplace. We're coming out with 2 new apps that you'll be able to download on your cell phone to track where your mail-in ballot is at all times after you mail it in during an election. And we just and also one for voting that'll direct people to their polling place, send them reminders when it's election day, where to go vote, who's on your ballot, send you sample ballots on your phone. These are very, very exciting initiatives that we just took somebody that had an interest in wanting to get this done, and I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled with the progress we're making, and that's just the beginning. We have so much more to do in the area of elections and business services. We
are speaking to the Arizona Secretary of State, Michelle Reagan. Secretary, when I watch, especially some of the different cable news, I see these commercials for New York. And I'm telling you, when I get done watching these commercials, I think that New York is the best state in the entire country that I should go set up business. And it doesn't seem real because I know about the tax implications of having a business in New York. Then we compete with states like Texas, where people don't have income tax and so forth. What are we doing as a state? Because there's a lot of people in this state that are still looking for good-paying jobs, solid jobs. What are we doing to market, to bring companies and to bring more jobs here to Arizona?
Well, marketing starts with, it starts with all of us. And I'm really glad that you pointed that out. Is we always talk about, when we talk about ourselves, we hear so many, especially elected officials, talk about how we're last in this, we're last in that, and we're not. When you look at measurements, especially from, Forbes magazine releases that we're number 1 in the country for entrepreneurship, number 1. Yet when we tout things, we always say, well, we're last in this area or last in that area. And we need to stop saying all of the areas that we're last in, because, yes, it's true, we have areas where we need to improve, absolutely. But we have so many areas where we are excelling in. I mean, we're right on the edge of something really phenomenal when it comes to the interaction that we're seeing with TGen and Science Foundation Arizona and the Mayo Clinic and in my former district, Scottsdale Healthcare. And a lot of people believe that the cure to cancer will probably be found, or some of the cancers will be found within the arena that's being built with TGen and Mayo Clinic. Yet you don't hear those stories unless you go out of state. That is so sad. What we as elected officials need to be doing, and Governor Ducey is doing this, is talking about some of our success stories as well as the areas that we need to improve in, because that's what New York is doing. And that's what you're hearing when you turn on TV and when you're seeing those ads. It's talking about how great some of these other states are doing. We need to be sharing the Arizona success stories as well, because that's the power of what's really happening here, and that's what the rest of the country and other countries besides the United States need to know about Arizona. We have a lot to be proud of.
We're speaking with the Arizona Secretary of State, Michelle Reagan. Now, a lot of people don't know this, and we have about 2 minutes left here, but you have received many awards. There probably is no bigger champion out there representing small businesses. The awards, it seems endless, and the acknowledgments that you have received. Now, I've got my oldest boy here. He's 9 years old. He's in the studio with me today, and I'm one of those parents. I always just think about the future. What is the future of Arizona going to look like for my son when he goes to college, graduates, and wanting to start his own business?
The future is bright. The future is unlimited. It is absolutely unlimited, and especially in Arizona. We have everything that we need to succeed here. We have such a wonderful climate for being an entrepreneur and for starting a business. We have kept our taxes low, yes, but more importantly than that, we have kept our mandates low, which means that you can come and set up shop, or if you're an existing business, you can grow your business with less government interference than you can in the surrounding states, so much less than in California, less than Nevada, less than New Mexico. And anyone that's had a business or has worked in a business knows that government interference costs more money than you can ever put a price tag on. So that, he should be so excited. The future, if we can keep those mandates and those regulations as light as possible, then it's unlimited what he'll be able to do here, and that is the key. That is what the legislature is striving to do, and the governor is striving to do. And that's what I did when I was there, and it was something that it's unsung. Nobody ever seems to care about it, and it doesn't make the newspapers, but it is so important, and it's an accomplishment.
Well, I don't know how excited he is right now. He's got his headphones on and he's playing Minecraft. But
he will be excited, especially when you're done, hopefully with your show, and you take him hopefully to a spring training game somewhere today.
Well,
right?
let me just be the first to ask. Maybe I'm the first. Maybe I'm not the first. You running for president in 2016?
I have never been asked that.
Okay, well then I'm the first to ever ask. So
I got a good name for it, right?
Yes, you do. Well, Secretary, thank you very much for joining us. That is our Arizona Secretary of State, Michelle Reagan. Have a wonderful afternoon, and thank you for taking a few minutes with us.
Thank you. You have a great day.